What if I told you that a single booking mistake could change your entire life forever? That one wrong room assignment could lead you to the person you never knew you were looking for. Stay with me, because what happened next will make you believe in destiny again. My name is Jake, and 3 months ago, I was just another college graduate from Chicago, lost and overwhelmed by the endless possibilities ahead of me. After 4 years of business school, all I wanted was to escape. Escape the job interviews, the family expectations, and the constant question, so what's next? That's when I decided to book a solo trip to Montreal. I'd never traveled alone before, but something about the idea of being completely independent, making my own choices, felt exactly like what I needed. I chose a boutique hotel in Old Montreal, specifically requesting a single room. I needed space to think, to breathe, to figure out who Jake really was without professors grading my every move or parents asking about my 5-year plan. But when I walked into the hotel lobby that sunny Tuesday afternoon, dragging my overpacked suitcase behind me, I had no idea that a simple computer glitch was about to turn my carefully planned solo adventure upside down. The receptionist, a friendly woman with silver hair and kind eyes, smiled as I approached. "Welcome, Hotel Champlain, Mr. Jake. We have you all set up." She handed me a key card, then paused, glancing at her computer screen with a slight frown. "Oh, I should mention, there was a small mix-up with our booking system. You'll be sharing your room with another guest. Don't worry, it's a beautiful suite with 2 separate beds, and the rate will be adjusted accordingly." My heart sank. Wait, I specifically booked a single room. I really need the privacy. Before she could respond, I heard a voice behind me, warm, with just a hint of a southern accent. "Excuse me, are you talking about room 847? I turned around, and that's when I saw him. Tall, athletic build, dark hair that looked like he'd just run his fingers through it, and the most striking blue eyes I'd ever seen. He was wearing a simple gray t-shirt and jeans, but somehow made it look effortless and perfect. "I think there might be some confusion," he continued, addressing the receptionist. "I booked a single room, too." The receptionist checked her computer again, her frown deepening. "I'm so sorry, gentlemen. We're completely booked due to the jazz festival this weekend. The system somehow double-booked that room, but it's a large suite with 2 queen beds and a sitting area. It's actually our nicest accommodation." I looked at the stranger, who was now looking at me with an expression that seemed to say, "Well, this is awkward." "I'm Alex, by the way," he said, extending his hand. "Alex from Nashville." "Jake," I replied, shaking his hand and trying not to notice how warm and strong his grip was. "Chicago." "Look," Alex said, turning back to the receptionist, "is there absolutely no other option?" She shook her head apologetically. "I've called 3 nearby hotels. Everything's booked. But I can offer you both a significant discount. And like I said, it's our premium suite." Alex looked at me, eyebrows raised. "What do you think? I promise I'm not a serial killer or anything. I'm just here to explore the city, maybe do some photography." Something about his easy smile and the genuine warmth in his voice made me relax slightly. Besides, what choice did we have? "Okay," I said finally, "but I get first dibs on the bathroom in the morning." Alex grinned. "Deal, and I promise not to judge your singing in the shower." Little did I know, as we walked toward that elevator, that Alex was hiding something that would completely change how I saw him and myself. Room 847. The suite was actually beautiful. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the St. Lawrence River. There were indeed 2 comfortable queen beds and a cozy sitting area with a small balcony. For a booking mistake, it could have been much worse. Alex tossed his leather duffel bag onto the bed by the window. "Mind if I take this one? I like to watch the sunrise." "Go for it," I said, claiming the bed closer to the bathroom. "Early riser, huh?" "Force of habit. I usually go for runs at dawn." He pulled out a professional camera and set it carefully on the desk. Plus, the lighting's perfect for photography in the morning. I watched him unpack with efficient, practiced movements. Everything about him seemed intentional, from the way he folded his clothes to how he arranged his camera equipment. There was something almost artistic about it. "So, What brings you to Montreal? I asked, trying to make conversation while unpacking my own considerably less organized suitcase. Honestly, I needed to get away. I just ended a long-term relationship, and Nashville felt too small all of a sudden. He paused, looking out the window. Plus, I've always wanted to capture the architecture here. There's something about the old mixed with the new that speaks to me. His openness surprised me. I'd expected awkward small talk, not genuine honesty. What about you, he asked. Similar story, minus the photography and the relationship. Just finished college, and everyone expects me to have my life figured out immediately. Thought some distance might help with perspective. Alex nodded knowingly. The post-graduation crisis. I remember it well. You're older than me? 26. Graduated 4 years ago. Worked in marketing for a while before I realized I was slowly dying inside. He laughed, but there was something serious underneath it. That's actually what ended my relationship. Sarah wanted stability, marriage, kids, the whole traditional path. I wanted to chase dreams that might not pay the bills. Did you make the right choice? I asked quietly. He was quiet for a moment, still looking out at the city. Asked me in a year. That evening, we decided to explore old Montreal together. It seemed silly to wander around separately when we were both alone in a foreign city. The cobblestone streets were alive with street performers, tourists, and locals enjoying the warm summer evening. Alex had his camera with him, occasionally stopping to capture a particular angle or moment of light. You're really good at this, I observed, watching him photograph an elderly man playing violin near a fountain. Thanks. It's the one thing I've always been sure about. He showed me the image on his camera screen. Somehow he captured not just a man, but the emotion in his music, the way the evening light made everything golden and magical. We found a small cafe tucked away on a side street with outdoor seating and the smell of fresh bread wafting from inside. Over dinner, our conversation flowed easier than I'd expected. Alex told me about growing up in Nashville, about family barbecues where everyone played music, about the pressure to follow a conventional path when all you want to do is create. I found myself sharing things I'd never told my closest friends. My fear that I'd chosen business school to please my parents rather than because I actually wanted it. My anxiety about making the wrong choices. You know what's funny? Alex said, leaning back his chair as the sun set behind the buildings. I came here to figure out my next move, and instead I'm having the most normal, comfortable conversation I've had in months. I knew exactly what he meant. Despite being strangers, despite the awkwardness of our situation, talking to Alex felt natural, easy. But as we walked back to the hotel that night, I couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to Alex's story, something he wasn't telling me, and I was right to be curious. The next morning, I woke up to the sound of Alex's alarm at 6 a.m. I groaned and pulled a pillow over my head, but I could hear him moving around quietly, trying not to wake me. Sorry, he whispered, going for that run. Go back to sleep. But I was already awake, so I decided to get up too. Through the window, I watched Alex emerge in the hotel lobby in running gear, stretching briefly before taking off down the street with the fluid grace of someone who clearly ran regularly. When he returned an hour later, slightly out of breath and with his hair damp with sweat, he found me on the balcony with coffee and pastries I'd ordered from room service. You didn't have to wait for me, he said, but he was smiling. Figured we could plan our day. Plus, you look like you could use some fuel. He grabbed a quick shower, and when he emerged, hair wet, wearing a clean white t-shirt that somehow made his eyes look even bluer, I had to force myself to look away. So, he said, settling into the chair across from me with his coffee, I have a confession. My heart skipped. Oh, I may have done some research last night after you fell asleep. He pulled out his phone, showing me a list of locations. There's this amazing overlook about an hour outside the city, Parc National du Mont-Royal. The views are supposed to be incredible, and there's a trail that leads to this hidden waterfall. That sounds amazing, but I should probably mention, I'm not exactly the hiking type. Alex raised an eyebrow. What type are you? It was a simple question, but something about the way he asked it made me really think. Honestly, I don't know. I've spent so much time doing what I thought I should do that I'm not sure what I actually like. Well, Alex said, leaning forward with that easy smile. Want to find out? 2 hours later, we were in a rental car, driving through Quebec countryside with the windows down and music playing softly. Alex had insisted on driving, and I found myself stealing glances at him. The way he tapped his fingers on the steering wheel in rhythm with the music, how he'd point out interesting landscape features for potential photographs. Can I ask you something? I said as we wound through a particularly beautiful stretch of Forest Road. Shoot. The relationship you mentioned, how long were you together? Alex was quiet for a moment. 3 years. We lived together, talked about getting married. Sarah's great, successful, beautiful, knows exactly what she wants. But I realized I was trying to be someone I'm not. He glanced at me quickly before looking back at the road. I was so focused on being the person she needed that I lost track of who I actually was. What do you mean? Alex pulled over at a scenic overlook, turning off the engine. The silence was filled with bird songs and the distant sound of rushing water. Sarah wanted traditional, safe, the kind of guy who comes home at 5:30 every day, watches TV after dinner, spends weekends at Home Depot. He laughed, but it sounded a little hollow. There's nothing wrong with that life, but it wasn't mine. So you left? She actually ended it, said I was emotionally unavailable and unwilling to commit to a real future. He turned to look at me directly. The thing is, she wasn't wrong. I was holding back, but not for the reason she thought. Something in his voice made my pulse quicken. There was more to this story, and I could feel we were approaching something important. What were the real reasons? Alex stared out at the forest for a long moment. When he spoke again, his voice was quieter, more vulnerable. I've never said this out loud before, he began, but I think I was holding back because I was trying to convince myself I was someone I'm not. Sarah kept asking why I never seemed completely present, why I always felt a little distant, and I couldn't explain it because I didn't understand it myself. He turned to face me fully. Jake, I think I've been lying to myself about who I'm attracted to. My breath caught. The air in the car suddenly felt charged, heavy with possibility. What do you mean? I asked, though part of me already knew. I mean, Alex said, his blue eyes searching mine. I think I've been trying so hard to fit into what everyone expected that I never let myself acknowledge what I actually wanted. We sat in silence for a moment, the weight of his confession settling between us. And what do you actually want? I asked quietly. Instead of answering immediately, Alex reached over and gently touched my hand, which was resting on the console between us. I think, he said, his voice barely above a whisper, I want to find out. The trail was more challenging than either of us had expected, but in the best possible way. For the first hour, we hiked mostly in comfortable silence, both lost in our own thoughts after Alex's revelation in the car. The forest was incredible. Towering pines, dappled sunlight filtering through leaves, and the gradual sound of rushing water getting stronger as we climbed higher. You doing okay? Alex called back to me as the trail steepened. Better than I expected. I replied truthfully. I'd always avoided hiking, assuming I'd hate it, but there was something meditative about the rhythm of walking, the fresh air, the complete break from technology and city noise. When we finally reached the waterfall, I understood why Alex had been so excited. It was like something from a movie, a crystal clear cascade dropping maybe 30 feet into a natural pool, surrounded by smooth rocks and ferns. Wow, I breathed. Alex was already setting up his camera, but he paused to look at my reaction. Right? Some things you just can't capture on Instagram. We found a large, flat rock near the water's edge and sat down to rest and eat the sandwiches we packed. The mist from the waterfall created tiny rainbows in the afternoon light. Alex, I said after we'd been sitting quietly for a while. Yeah, what you said in the car, about being attracted to, about questioning things. He set down his water bottle and looked at me. Yeah. My heart was pounding, but I forced myself to continue. I think I know what you mean. Alex's expression shifted, becoming more intent. Do you? I've dated girls, I said carefully. Had relationships. Thought I was happy. But there was always something missing, something I couldn't name. I picked up a small stone and tossed it into the pool. Lately, I've been wondering if maybe what was missing was that I was trying to be attracted to people I wasn't actually attracted to. And who are you attracted to? Alex asked softly. I looked at him, really looked at him, the way the afternoon light caught the gold flecks in his blue eyes, the gentle curve of his smile, the way he was leaning slightly toward me like my answer mattered more than anything in the world. I think, I said, my voice shaking slightly, I'm attracted to you. The words hung in the air between us for what felt like forever. Then Alex smiled, not his usual easy grin, but something softer, more genuine. Jake, he said, reaching out to touch my face gently, I was hoping you'd say that. When he kissed me, it was nothing like kissing the girls I dated. It was gentle at first, tentative like a question. But when I kissed him back, it became something else entirely. Urgent, honest, like coming home to a place I'd never known I was looking for. When we finally broke apart, we were both breathing hard. So, Alex said, his forehead still resting against mine, I guess we both got some clarity on this trip. I laughed, feeling lighter than I had in months. Best booking mistake ever. But our perfect moment was about to be interrupted by something that would test everything we just discovered about ourselves. We spent the rest of the afternoon by the waterfall, talking, kissing, and marveling at how natural everything felt. As the sun began to set, we reluctantly packed up to head back to the city. The drive back was different from the drive out. Charged with new energy, Alex's hand finding mine whenever he wasn't shifting gears, stolen glances that made both of us smile. I can't believe this is happening, I said as we pulled into the hotel parking garage. What, specifically? Alex asked, turning off the engine. All of it. Meeting you, feeling this way, being brave enough to say something. Alex turned to face me. Jake, can I ask you something? Of course. Are you scared? I thought about it honestly. Terrified, I admitted, but also excited, like, this feels more right than anything has in a long time. Alex nodded. Same. I keep waiting for panic to set in, but it hasn't. We were walking toward the elevator when my phone rang. I glanced at the screen, and my stomach dropped. My mom. I said to Alex, I should probably take this. Jake, honey, how's Montreal? Are you having a good time on your solo adventure? I looked at Alex, who was listening with an amused expression. It's great, Mom. Really beautiful city. Are you eating enough? Meeting people? You know, you can't spend your whole trip alone. That's not healthy. Actually, I said, still looking at Alex, I did meet someone. Alex's eyebrows shot up. Oh, wonderful. A nice girl? What's her name? My heart sank. I caught Alex's eye, and he gave me an understanding nod. Just someone I'm exploring the city with. Look, Mom, I should go. We're about to get dinner. Okay, sweetie. Call me tomorrow? Your father wants to hear all about it. After I hung up, Alex and I stood in awkward silence for a moment. That was harder than I expected. I said finally, the lying part or the realizing you'd have to lie part? Both. Alex pressed the elevator button. For what it's worth, I'm not ready to come out to my family either. This is all pretty new. How do you think they'd react? My parents? They'd probably be fine eventually. My dad might need some time, but he'd come around. It's more. He paused. It's more that once you tell people, you can't take it back. It becomes real in a different way. And you're not sure you want to be real yet? Alex looked at me as the elevator doors opened. I'm sure about how I feel about you. I'm just not sure about everything else that comes with it. Back in the room, we ordered room service and sat on Alex's bed, eating pasta and watching the lights twinkle across the river. The conversation was lighter now, but I could feel both of us thinking about the phone call, about the complications we hadn't considered. Jake, Alex said suddenly. Yeah, what happens when we go home? It was a question I've been avoiding all day. What do you mean? I mean you live in Chicago. I live in Nashville. We both have lives, expectations, families who don't know we're whatever this is. I set down my fork. Are you having second thoughts? No, Alex said quickly, but I'm being realistic. Long distance is hard enough for regular couples. For two guys who are just figuring out their sexuality, who aren't out to anyone. He had a point, but hearing him say it made my chest tight. So what are you suggesting? Alex was quiet for a long moment. I don't know. Maybe we should just enjoy the next few days and not worry about anything beyond that. Like a vacation romance? Something that stays in Montreal. Maybe that would be easier. I stared out the window, feeling something sink inside me. Is that what you want? I want, Alex said slowly, to not hurt you, and I want to not get hurt. And I'm scared that if we try to make this into something bigger, we'll both end up disappointed. I was about to respond when Alex's phone buzzed with a text that would change everything we thought we knew about each other. Alex glanced at his phone and immediately paled. What is it? I asked. It's Sarah, my ex. He stared at the screen for a moment, then looked up at me with an expression I couldn't read. Alex, what's wrong? She's here, in Montreal. She says she followed me here because she wants to talk. My stomach dropped. She followed you? How did she even know where you were? I may have posted a photo on Instagram yesterday of the hotel exterior. Alex ran his hands through his hair. Jake, there's something I didn't tell you. What? Sarah didn't exactly break up with me. We've been on a break. She wanted space to think, and I wanted space to figure things out. We agreed to revisit things when I got back. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. So you're still together? It's complicated. No, Alex, it's not complicated. You're either with someone or you're not. You're right. Alex stood up, pacing the window. I'm sorry. I should have been clearer. So what does this mean? Is she here to get back together? Alex's phone buzzed again. He looked at it and sighed. She's downstairs. In the lobby. We stared at each other for a moment. Everything that had felt so right a few hours ago suddenly felt uncertain and complicated. What are you going to do? I asked quietly. I don't know. Alex, do you love her? He was quiet for a long moment. I thought I did. I loved the idea of her, the life we could have had. But Jake, what I felt today with you, I've never felt that with anyone else. Not even Sarah. But you still need to talk to her. Yeah, I do. I stood up, grabbing my jacket. I'll go for a walk. Give you space. Jake, wait. It's fine, I said, though it wasn't. You need to figure this out. I was almost at the door when Alex caught my arm. This doesn't change how I feel about you, he said. Today was real. You're real. But so is she. So is your life in Nashville, your history together. I pulled free gently. Handle your business, Alex. We'll talk when you're done. I wandered the streets of old Montreal for 2 hours, my mind racing. Part of me was angry. Alex should have been upfront about his relationship status. But part of me understood. These situations were messy, especially when you were questioning everything about yourself. I found myself at the same cafe where we'd eaten dinner the night before. It felt different now, tinged with uncertainty instead of possibility. My phone buzzed with a text from Alex. Still talking. This is harder than I thought. Are you okay? I typed back, I'm fine. Take your time. But I wasn't fine. I was falling for someone who might choose a completely different life, and I had no right to be upset about it. We'd known each other for less than 48 hours. Another text. Jake, I know this is confusing, but what happened today mattered. Please don't give up on us. Us. Was there in U.S.? Or was I just a convenient experiment for someone trying to figure themselves out? I ordered another coffee and tried to think rationally. Even if Alex chose me over Sarah, what then? We lived in different cities. We were both just beginning to understand our sexuality. Neither of us was out to our families. Maybe Alex was right earlier. Maybe this should just be a beautiful few days that stayed in Montreal. But even as I thought it, I knew I didn't want that. What I felt for Alex wasn't just physical attraction or vacation excitement. There was something deeper, more real. My phone rang. Alex. Hey, I answered. Can you come back? Sarah's gone, and I really need to talk to you. Are you sure? Jake, please. I need to tell you what happened. When I got back to the room, Alex was sitting on the edge of his bed, looking emotionally drained. "How did it go?" I asked, staying by the door. "Sit down," he said. "Please." I sat on my own bed, facing him. Sarah came here because she realized she loves me and wants to make things work. She's ready to compromise, to give me space to pursue photography while we build a life together. My heart sank. That's good. That's what you wanted, right? It's what I thought I wanted. 3 days ago, it would have been everything I was hoping to hear. And now, Alex looked at me directly. Now I realized that what I was looking for wasn't compromise or space. It was authenticity. The chance to be who I actually am with someone who makes me want to be braver. "Alex," I told her the truth, Jake, about questioning my sexuality, about meeting you, about realizing that what was missing in our relationship wasn't circumstantial. It was fundamental. How did she take it? She was hurt, obviously, but she also said something that stuck with me. Alex leaned forward. She said she'd been feeling like I was holding back for months, and now she understood why. She said she hoped I'd find the courage to be happy. I didn't know what to say. "Jake, I'm not asking you to solve my identity crisis or promise me forever, but I am asking if you want to see where this goes. The real-world version, with all the complications. What would that look like? I don't know exactly. Maybe I move to Chicago. Maybe you move to Nashville. Maybe we figure out something in between. The point is, we figure out together." I studied his face, looking for any sign that this was just post-breakup confusion or fear of being alone. "Are you sure you're not just running from one relationship into another?" "That's exactly what I was afraid of," Alex said. "So I've been thinking about it all night. And here's what I know. With Sarah, I was trying to be the person she needed. With you, I just am who I am. That's the difference." I was about to answer when Alex said something that made everything crystal clear. "Jake," Alex said, standing up and moving to sit beside me, "I know this is crazy. I know we barely know each other. But in 2 days, you made me feel more myself than I have in years. That has to mean something." I looked at him, really looked at him. The uncertainty in his eyes, the hope, the vulnerability of someone putting themselves completely on the line. "It means everything," I said quietly. Alex's face broke into a smile. Yeah. But Alex, I need you to be sure. Because I'm already falling for you, and if you change your mind in a week or a month, it's going to hurt." "I won't change my mind," Alex said, taking my hands. "Jake, I've never been more sure of anything." When he kissed me this time, it felt different. Not like a question or an experiment, but like a promise. "So what happens now?" I asked when we broke apart. "Now," Alex said, "we finish our trip. We explore Montreal. We take ridiculous tourist photos. We figure out what we both like for breakfast. And then we go home and figure out how to build a life together. Just like that. Just like that." "Jake, coffee's ready." I emerged from the bathroom, still adjusting to the routine of sharing morning space with someone, still marveling at how natural it had become. Alex handed me a mug. He learned exactly how I liked my coffee within our first week of living together. "Big day today," he said, checking his camera bag. Today was the opening of Alex's first photography exhibition, 3 months after I'd moved to Nashville. He'd got an opportunity to show his work at a local gallery. The centerpiece was a series he'd taken during our remaining days in Montreal. Candid shots of me that somehow captured emotions I didn't even know I was feeling. "Nervous?" I asked. "Excited," Alex corrected. "My parents are coming. Your parents are flying in." Both sets of parents had taken our relationship. Well, better than expected, though it had been a process. My mom had cried, happy tears. She assured me, because I seemed more myself than I'd ever been. Alex's dad had needed some time, but had come around when he saw how happy Alex was. "Any regrets?" I asked, a question that had become our morning ritual. "About which part?" "Any of it. Moving in together so fast, me leaving Chicago, you ending things with Sarah." Alex set down his coffee and pulled me closer. "Jake, 6 months ago I was living a life that looked perfect on paper, but felt wrong in my heart. Now I wake up every morning next to someone who makes me want to be braver, more honest, more myself. He kissed me softly. No regrets. Even about the booking mistake that started all this. Alex grinned, that same easy smile that first caught my attention in the hotel lobby. Especially not about that. Sometimes the best things happen when your plans fall apart. My phone buzzed with a text from my mom. Can't wait to see the exhibition tonight. So proud of you both. Ready for tonight? I asked, ready to show the world what we found together? Absolutely. As we headed out into the Nashville morning, Alex reached for my hand, a gesture that had become as natural as breathing. Hey, Jake, he said as we walked his car. Yeah, thanks for not giving up on us in Montreal. When everything got complicated, thanks for making it worth fighting for. 6 months ago, neither of us could have imagined this life. But here we were, messy, complicated, perfectly imperfect, and completely happy. Sometimes the best adventures begin with a single mistake. Sometimes the person you're meant to be with shows up when you're not even looking. And sometimes, if you're brave enough to let your plans fall apart, you find something better than you ever could have planned. So what do you think? Do you believe that one small mistake can change your entire life's trajectory? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever had a travel experience that completely changed your perspective? Or maybe you found love in the most unexpected circumstances. If the story touched you in any way, please give a thumbs up. It really helps more people discover these stories. And if you enjoy deep emotional romance narratives like this one, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss our latest releases. What should Jake and Alex's next adventure be? Drop your suggestions in the comments, and maybe their story will continue in our next video. Thanks for being part of this journey with me. Until next time, remember, sometimes the best things in life happen when you least expect them.